Marco.
Huh?
The Rams are the 4 seed.
4 seed, yes.
Yes.
Kind of what we figured, right?
Well,
When you decided to not play the starters.
they had a chance to win that game yesterday.
5 points.
Yeah, they were. That was oddly, it was kind of an interesting, fun game to watch, even though the stakes were weird.
It was fun.
Do you have any? Clearly, Sean McVay's philosophy was we're going to have to play a good team no matter what. I would rather be as healthy as possible going into the playoffs. If we beat Seattle with our backup guys, great. We'll be the 3. We'll play Washington.
Yeah.
If not, we'll take on the loser of the Sunday night game.
Right
Turns
choice.
out to be. You think it's the right choice?
It is the right choice. It's the smart choice. You want to go in healthy versus anybody. Take 1 through 4 of those teams you could play: Washington, Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
Well,
they all give you problems for various reasons, and vice versa.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. Here's my argument to the contrary. Of those 4 teams, I think the softest touch of those 4 is Washington.
Okay, I keep hearing that, and it's because of the rest of their roster. You know what scares me most about Washington is their quarterback.
Okay.
What has given the Rams fits
Mobile
all year?
quarterbacks.
Mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That kid is having a fantastic season. That's the last thing I want to see.
I do not want to throw
do or die.
I'm with you. But it's a rookie quarterback in his first ever playoff game going up against a bunch of guys with gray in their beard, going up against a Sean McVay-led team. I'll take my chances with that.
The defense is just as young as he is.
I understand, but the coach isn't, and your quarterback isn't, and your best players on offense are not necessarily there. I like Jaden Daniels too.
Yeah.
I think he's a terrific player.
I didn't want to see him.
Let
me take that back. I mean, if of all the choices, I'd rather have a guy that doesn't move.
If you gave me the 4 choices that you just mentioned, Washington would have been my first choice. And
Really?
I'm not saying it's by a mile, but I'm saying if I'm picking between the 4.
Yeah.
Now, the good news is my second choice would have been Minnesota.
Minnesota would be
Minnesota
top
would be
of the
my
heap.
second choice because Sam Darnold isn't particularly mobile. That's not what he's known for. And we saw the version of Sam Darnold last night that made you go, okay.
No, that was the worst version of Sam Darnold.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. The version of Sam Darnold that makes you think, hey, we can beat that team.
And
now you already beat him.
I could not believe. Why would you go away from Justin Jefferson in the red zone? Why would you go away from him? Until it's 4th down and you got to jam the ball to him. That was dumb. And then even when you had him open, Sam Darnold couldn't hit him.
Yeah, Darnold had a bad night.
They're going to fix that come Monday. You know this.
Can the Rams put the same amount of pressure on Darnold that Detroit? Because Detroit gave Darnold fits. Darnold looked last night like the player that I think a lot of NFL fans have been waiting to see all season long. Like the guy that we saw in New York, the guy you saw in Carolina, the guy that's a little skittish, the guy that isn't terribly accurate. And he'd had a great season, and he can have a great night against the Rams on Monday night. But that was like, oh, yeah, there's that Darnold.
He
went 18 for 41.
Yeah, he didn't look good, especially when it mattered most. So here's the thing about Minnesota, and just be careful with, they're done, they're toast, and Sam Darnold's not blankety-blank.
I'm not saying that.
Just be careful, because they got to the red zone 4 times on Detroit. 4 times, and came away with 3 points. So
that's kind of how the Rams roll, though,
you're
DeMarco,
discounting them getting down there. They just couldn't score. This is a good football team, but this is the team I would love to match up with in the postseason because
They'd be your first pick?
You know the offense. Absolutely.
Okay.
You know the offense. You know most of their checks. I think you match up well defensively with them. So depending on what Matthew Stafford and the offense gives you, this is the best of all possible worlds. The other thing, purely from a vanity standpoint, I wanted Detroit to come through here.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Just to give it back to them what they gave to us up there.
I hear you. I feel you. And right up until the point of I think they're the best team in this half of the draw.
They look good.
They look really good. And
I would love it.
I know you got to beat them eventually if you're going to go to the Super Bowl, but I would rather postpone that as long as possible.
I would rather have it week 1 of the playoffs. Let's get into it. And I would say L.A. be L.A. Give it to them as bad as they gave it to us going up there. Make this place a pit of hell for them.
It's not how we roll.
Jared doesn't move.
Yeah.
They're a good offense. They got a lot of weapons, but they played 2 games, and it's been close twice.
Yep.
They're due. This might have been the one. So Minnesota, the only thing I'm afraid of is they're going to fix their problems come Monday. They had a lot of good stuff happen, and they had a lot of bad. And
they're also banged up.
They are banged up, but it came to them losing.
They're 14-3.
They're a good football team, and they're going to fix everything that ails them come Monday.
They're 14-3 with 1 loss to the Rams.
I understand that. And the Rams played, if it wasn't their best game of the season, it was their second best game of the season.
Offensively.
With Buffalo and Minnesota. I think the Minnesota game was their most complete game of the season, where they played their best football on both sides collectively.
Yeah.
But they're a 14-3 team.
And a block punt.
Yeah, and a block punt.
Yeah.
You don't go 14-3 in the NFL by being lucky. By
being good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to be a really, not even really good, an extremely good team to win 14 football games in 17 tries, and that's your wild card opponent. That is a tough assignment.
Big time. Careful what you wish for. Everybody's happy they got Minnesota, but look, you said this is a 14-win football team coming to town. So I think the Rams did the right thing by resting Matthew Stafford in particular. He needed a week off just to recharge and get himself ready to go because you're going to need the best of him to beat Minnesota. The best thing about their defense coming here is they don't have the benefit of that crowd noise.
Yeah.
It'll be dead silent here, hopefully. So you'll have a chance to move the rock.
It'll be interesting. Minnesota travels a little bit, but not like some of those other teams we've seen. They'll have fans because
if you locked up with Green Bay, good Lord.
Green Bay, I even think Detroit would have come out in numbers. There are a lot of Michigander transplants here.
Yeah.
I think they come out in pretty good numbers. Minnesota will have people, but I don't think that's
really
nice.
They'll be very polite.
Very polite. They're very polite.
Really?
But, I don't really worry about that being a huge factor.
No.
I think the Rams will be all right. I worry about the offense. I think this team will go as far as the defense can take them because the Buffalo game, they went off, right?
Yeah.
Since then, the offense has been really quiet.
Well, look.
Really quiet.
So Havenstein got the week off. He needed it.
Yep.
Alarg Jackson got the week off. He needed it. So Matthew Stafford got the week off. If
Puka
anything
and Cup,
proves that Sean McVay and this team did the right thing by resting their starters, look at Blake Corum.
Yeah, it sucks.
Anything can happen. Just one little – and he ran the guy over and broke his arm. So anything could happen. Smart deal. Have your guys ready for the postseason when it matters most. Not in a game that
Is that
doesn't.
a big deal with Corum? I mean, obviously, it sucks for him, and it's a bummer that a guy that had a pretty nice rookie season. They didn't use him a ton, but he was an important part of what they did. He was the backup running back.
It only
spelled
matters
Kyren.
if something happens to Kyren.
Yeah.
It only matters if Kyren gets banged up in the playoff game because you're going to Ronnie Rivers, who had a pretty good game.
He was good yesterday.
He had a pretty good game.
But there's a drop-off there from Williams to Rivers.
He's the third back for a reason.
Yeah.
Corum is the backup for a reason. Now he's not going to be there. So that should have been your cautionary tale. That could have been Kyren Williams. And then where are you? That could have been Matthew Stafford. And then where are you? So I think the smart thing was protect your starters, get them ready for the next week.
I don't. If you could just say pick,
and you almost beat them anyway.
Yeah. If you just said pick who you want to play, I would have picked Washington. But I don't hate the fact that they did what they did. I'm 100% fine with it because Sean McVay is 100% fine with it.
Yeah.
And I will ride with that guy 100 times out of 100. If he thinks that's the right decision, I'm on his side. Even if I strongly thought that you should, go out there, get that 3, play Washington. If that was the part where I want to dig my foot in, I'd still, in the back of my mind, saying, look, Sean McVay knows what he's doing. Don't second-guess this too much. And that we're going to play a good team no matter what.
Yeah.
We're going to be as healthy as possible. It's hard to argue the contrary.
See, this is why I don't want Washington. I want that front, especially Braden Fisk versus Kobe Turner, Brian Young. I want those guys dialing in on one target, not one that moves.
Yeah.
I don't want them taking smoke off their rush. Because like you said, if this is going to be a defensive-led football team.
It is, right? Am I wrong about that?
Well, hopefully. It can be. It got you here. I don't think it's going to win a playoff game. The offense is going to have to score. That's why I think it was smart to take the week off. You need to retool there. You can only
retool as in just freshen up, or retool as in schematically?
Rest. I think you've gone as far as you can go. You have beat that horse as much as you can.
It's done running, no matter how hard you hit it.
It needs to rest a little bit.
Yeah.
But this offense needs to take a giant step forward in the postseason. But like I said, the last thing you want is some mobile quarterback dancing around, getting out a third and a mile.
You're selling me on it. You're selling me on it. Okay.
I want those dudes dialing in, getting after people, not worrying about guys scrambling.
I don't love what you just said. That part you've sold me on. The other part, I don't love it because I think you might be right.
What?
That they can't win a game based on their defense.
No.
That if they're going to win playoff games, they're going to have to do it offensively.
You're facing the elites.
Look, their offense has had some moments. One of those moments was against Minnesota. One of them was against Buffalo. But quite honestly, the offense has been hit and miss for huge portions of the season.
I need Cooper Kupp to show up there. Puka Nacua is doing his job.
He's been terrific.
I need Cooper Kupp to show up. Tyler Higbee's rounding into form. Kyren Williams is a Pro Bowl snub, in my opinion. So is Kevin Dodson. So there's a lot of pieces of this offense that have been playing well. The one guy that hasn't been around that we can't talk about is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
He has got to balance out this offense.
Where's he been?
I think that might be a function of Stafford. That's what I mean. He's got to be able to find him more. The only guy he vibes with
that was
right
the guy
now,
that he found more than anybody for years.
The only guy he vibes with now is Puka.
What changed?
it happens with quarterbacks. I saw this with Isaac and Torrey. All of a sudden, Kurt started looking Torrey's way instead of Isaac. It's just one of those things.
Is it something that the defense is doing?
You know, when it all breaks down, you just have a sixth sense of where this guy's going to be. You can feel where he's going, and I can't feel you, so I'm not even looking that way. That's the thing. So that part of the offense, that trust in Cooper Kupp, has to be there for this offense to take off.
What's the number? What's the number they got to get to?
30.
30.
At least 30. At least 30. At least, and that could happen. That could possibly happen.
I hate that number. I was hoping you'd say 24.
30. You're going to need 30.
Look, if they score 30, they're going to win. That's what they scored against them the first time, 30-20.
Not all touchdowns. I'll take some 30 field goals, and that was a great game for him, confidence boost.